to part 4. Part 4, here we go. So in this particular episode and this part of the series, I'm going to continue to talk about being out there. You're out there, now what? What is it that you're going to be doing? What are some of my suggestions on what to do? So let's just get right into it. So far, I have talked about being out there and separating from your body. I have also talked about the fact that things will probably look different. I don't know exactly what those differences are going to be. I've shared a few of the things that I've seen and the few of the differences that I've noticed, but you may notice other different things. It's really, truly going to depend. What I recommend to you at this point, at this stage in the game, is to take baby steps. Perhaps you begin by being around your body or being in your place and just moving around and then going back into your body. Maybe the next time you leave your body, you soar upward and pass through the ceiling, go up into the sky, and then go right back down again. Maybe the next time you do the same thing and then you fly a little bit and then you come back. Again, these are simply suggestions. I would expect that you will come up with your own routine and the things that you're going to do to make yourself more comfortable. But the reason why I really say baby steps is because I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to also know that your guides are there as a safety net. Think of yourself as a toddler. For those of you who have kids, perhaps you have a toddler at this point, or your kids are grown and they were toddlers at one point. They stumble, sometimes they fall when they're walking, when they're learning to walk, but eventually they get there and you're there to pick them up if something happens. Your guides are there to do the same thing. They are there to pick you up if you fall or if you falter, and they will never allow harm to come to you. Trust in them. Even though they may not show themselves immediately to you, it will actually depend on your comfort level and how comfortable you feel with having beings around you. I can remember for a long time in the very beginning, it was kind of uncomfortable for me to think that there were these beings that were around me that I really didn't know. But of course, they have known me my entire life, and their purpose is to help you. That's all they do 24/7. They are there to help you. So when you're out, they will be there. They'll be watching your back. So always think about that as you're out there, as you're doing your thing. And when you feel comfortable, when you feel that you're ready to talk to them and see them, and by the way, they know that you are ready because they'll understand it. They know you. So they'll know when you're ready. They will appear to you and you will be able to hang out with them. And believe me, they're amazing. They're the best friends that you'll ever have. But today I kind of wanted to also, by the way, focus on a subject that I have talked about previously, but I wanted to focus on it again because I'm sure that people think about this. Now, I've talked about being in the astral plane, astral projecting, and going out to visit people in the 3D world, perhaps friends, family, whoever. Some people would like to visit other people besides friends and family, perhaps people they've had a crush on. I'm sure that there are even people out there in the universe and the world that would love to visit a famous actor or something like that, perhaps, or a famous person, someone that they've always wanted to see. But I wanted to kind of give you my views on this because, well, the reason why I say they're my views is because I honestly, I will continue to say this in every episode that I produce on this channel, that I don't know everything. And so I'm just giving you my point of view of what it is. Perhaps someone knows more than me and they know a way to be able to do it. But in my experience of doing this for 40 plus years, this is what I've found. Now, I've talked about the two modes of transportation that I use. The method of using thought to get to someplace. In other words, thinking about a place and focusing on it and being literally pulled to that place. Also, I've talked about flight, using flight. And my opinion on flight is that while it is amazing, it's fun to do, especially when you first begin, because, well, how many people have actually flown without a machine or anything else? It is amazing to fly. I love flying. It is just a fun thing to do. But for practical reasons, if you want to get to a place, if you really want to get to a place and you want to get there quickly, then you will use the power of thought to get there. It's fast, it gets you there, and it's fairly accurate, again, unless you have a stray thought that comes in there or you're not as focused as you thought you were, and you may end up someplace else. And believe me, as I've said before, I have ended up in other places and thought, why am I here? What am I doing here? And, you realize later on, well, maybe some thought came into my head and sort of diverted me to this other place. So, but let's talk about that, using the power of thought, because using the power of thought, to me, that's what I'm going to use at this point, because I think that's the most efficient way to go visit someone. Let's talk about using the power of thought to visit someone that you want to see. Now, again, this isn't going to be for everybody, I'm sure, but I also think that there are a lot of people that honestly want to visit people in the 3D world. I know when I was younger, when I was in school, I used to think about doing it. And on this channel, I talked about wanting to visit a girl that I had a crush on when I was in junior high school, and attempting to do that. And it kept going very wrong. I kept ending up in all these different places. What you have to understand about visiting people in the 3D world, especially using the power of thought, is this. One, you have to, I believe, be familiar with the person, and more familiar than just being casual or having seen the person someplace. You need to have some sort of bond with them that you can focus on emotionally, whether it be love or whatever. It has to be there in order to draw you to that person or persons. Number two, though, you also have to realize that while we have guides around us, everyone has guides around us. And you can think of it as I've said before, our guides are kind of like the bouncers in a club. They allow certain people in and they keep certain people out. And if that person that you're trying to visit is not familiar with you and their guides don't like the idea of you coming anywhere near them, trust me when I tell you, you won't get anywhere near them, because they're there to protect them just like your guides are there to protect you. So they're not going to allow beings or people in the astral plane just to come flying around them unless they allow them in, allow them entry. So you have to think about that. That's why you can't, I'll just mention a random actor's name. That's why you can, if you're a young woman, or I suppose you could be a young man and feel this way too, just pulling a name out of my head here, Tom Cruise. I want to go see Tom Cruise. I want to go visit Tom Cruise and see him. How cool that would be. Well, you're probably not going to have much luck doing that, because the beings around him, the guides around him, probably aren't going to let some stranger come in, or someone that he doesn't know and he's not familiar with come in and hang out in his space. So you kind of have to keep that in mind. But I would have to say that thought is the best way to go about visiting people. And I have had, well, varying adventures in thought of going to visit people. By the way, I am going to end this episode here. I didn't realize how long this was taking. Wow. In part 5, I'm going to talk about some of the examples of people that I have attempted to visit in the 3D and what the outcome has been. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on another journey with me. And until next time, take care.